A while ago, a comment I saw suggested this idea, getting some videos from other people driving and giving them tips on how to improve. Some players were kind enough to send me some footage, so I decided to give it a go, and for this first attempt I picked the video someone named Jim sent me. Jim is a fast driver already, and he sent me some laps around Laguna Seca with the Delara IndyCar. He's driving at a good level already, so there's not much to improve, but still, let's go through the track, corner by corner, and see where I think there's some room for improvement. First, we'll see his driving on different laps, and then I'll try to explain myself where I will change. Let's go for it. For turn 1, Jim seems to lack a bit of confidence in the rear end of his car. He feels the need to hold some throttle in the final part of the braking zone to keep his car stable. You'll be able to see it here. That's increasing the distance he needs to slow down the car, and it's something he could avoid with some minor setup changes, like brake distribution. On corner exit, he usually gets a bit of wheel spin being too hard on the throttle, but he seems to have it well under control and it doesn't look like he's losing too much time. Now, this is my own driving for turn 1. If you keep an eye on the green bar, you can see that I don't need to touch the throttle in the braking zone with my brake distribution. For corner exit, I avoid the wheel spin by waiting just a bit more until I go full throttle. Into turn 3, he has the same problem again. To slow down and keep the car stable, he needs to use some throttle at the same time. He nails the corner exit using all the track and avoiding wheel spin. But in corner entry there are some laps where he can't avoid making small corrections. Now, this is my own driving for turn 3. You can see the entry is cleaner. I can brake harder, then turn in without any hesitation, and accelerate out of the corners cleanly. For turn 4, his driving is good. He puts his car in all the right parts of the track, using only the flat part of the curb on the apex and avoiding the sand on corner exit. He does kick some dirt in some of the laps, but it doesn't slow him down. He seems to have a bit of understeer on corner exit, and he needs to keep using a lot of steering lock all the way out of the turn. This is my driving in turn 4. The only difference is that I am able to reduce the amount of steering lock a bit sooner out of the turn. Jim's driving into turn 5 is perfect. The higher entry speed allows him to brake and turn in without throttle use. He is also patient enough on the throttle on corner exit to avoid wheel spin, and he uses all the width of the track on the way out, without ever touching the sand. This is my driving into turn 5 and it's pretty much the same. Turn 6 is the hardest in the track in my opinion, and his driving is really good. Pay attention to how smooth he is with the brakes on the way into the corner, using a very subtle input. In the laps where he gets it right, it's a pleasure to watch. In some laps he goes a bit wide, and in some others he cuts the inside a bit too hard, but this corner is really hard to get right every lap if you drive at full attack. Now, this is my driving into turn 6. My braking here is very different. I brake later, harder and for a shorter time. This is not textbook driving, but at this speed the car will cope with anything you ask it to do. Now we arrive to the corkscrew and Jim struggles again in the final part of the braking zone. We can see that he's using the throttle to keep the rear planted again, and he cannot turn in with confidence. In some laps, his throttle use will push his car forward too much, and he will end up on the sand in the second apex. And now this is my driving into turn 8. In the braking zone, I try to stay farther to the right than Jim. Then, when I'm done braking, I turn in much harder, and I get a better line for the second part of the corner. We'll have a look to the next two corners together. Jim goes through here very fast. In the first corner, sometimes he will lift and sometimes he will brake. When he does it, his brake use is very smooth. It's really good driving. Have a look. His lines through here are really fluid and he gets this corner right almost every lap. He's really good through this section, which isn't easy at all. Now, this is my driving through this section. I can be back on the power a bit sooner and a bit harder, probably down to setup differences. There's not a hint of understeer on corner exit. In fact, you can see that on the second part of this sequence I need to correct the rear a bit. The final corner on the track is the one where Jim has more issues. His braking problems are back, and on top of that, he charges very hard into the corner, compromising his own exit very often. Braking a bit earlier and making sure you get a nice exit is a better approach here. The main straight in Laguna Seca isn't all that long if we compare it to other tracks, but it's still very important getting a nice slingshot out of the last corner. This is my driving through the final turn. Here, all the focus goes to getting as soon as possible on the power. I am on it even before riding the inside curb. To end the video, let's put all the corners together in a hot lap. So that's it. I take the chance to thank Jim and all the others that sent me some laps. I'll try to do more videos like this if I can find the time. As always, thanks for watching.